Hey everyone, it's Cece with Nana's Crochet, and this is the second part to my two-piece fringe set tutorial. This video is for the skirt. I'm using big twist yarn in the color deep red and a 3.5mm hook. I just chained 6, and then I'm going to skip the first stitch from the hook and go into the second with a single crochet. Then I'm going to single crochet the rest of the way down. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Nana's Crochet and TikTok at Little Nappy Headed CC. Once you've got those 5 single crochets, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. From this point on, we are going to be working in the back loop only for this part, and we're going to do 5 single crochets per row, back loop only, and then chain 1, turn your work until this reaches the widest part of your hips while it's stretched out. Now that the waistband is at 41 inches, which is the widest part of my hips, I'm going to slip stitch it together so we can start working on the skirt. So now that I've slip stitched them together, I'm going to chain 1 and work single crochets all the way around. So we've done our single crochets and then slip stitched into the initial single crochet, and then I'm going to chain up 3. Once I chain up 3, I'm going to start working on that first row for the skirt, and I'm going to double crochet all the way around until I reach the last stitch. We're coming to the end of the row, so I'm going to show you my favorite way to keep the seam straight. So you're going to yarn over, go through that final stitch, and then you're going to go through that third stitch in the chain up 3, pull through, and then you're going to pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, go back through the top of that chain up 3, and then you're going to do a slip stitch. I hope that I explained that rather clearly. If not, please slow down the video and watch it. After that, you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. Don't forget to turn your work. Do another row of double crochet, and we're going to end this row the same way we did the other rows. That's how we're going to end every row for the rest of the skirt. Okay, so we're at the end. You're going to yarn over, go through that stitch, go through the third stitch on the chain up 3, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, go through the top of that chain up 3 and slip stitch, chain 3. Don't forget to turn your work. Now I'm going to make this section. I did 5 rows exactly the same way, and then I placed a stitch marker on each side because we're now going to increase the skirt in the hip part. So start the row the same, turn your work, double crochet until you get to that first stitch marker. Once you reach that first stitch marker, you're going to place 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So here I am at the first stitch marker, and you can see me putting 2 double crochets in that same stitch with the blue stitch marker. Keep double crocheting until you reach the next stitch marker, which for me would be the green one, and then you're going to place 2 double crochets in that same stitch as well. I've reached the stitch marker, so now I'm going to place 2 double crochets in that same stitch and then crochet all the way until I reach that last stitch, and we're going to end the row the same as the other rows. So we're reaching the end of the row, and I'm going to close it off the same way that I've done previously, and then I'm going to chain 3, turn my work, and continue for 12 more rows. The only difference is you don't want to put the increase in the same stitch for each row, so I kind of move the increase back and forth for each row. I'm going to let you guys see me do one more row with increases, and then I will come back and show you when all 12 are done. So here are my 12 rows. I've increased it to a comfortable size for my hips. And now I'm just going to go in with another 12 rows, but they are just going to be regular double crochet. So here are the 12 rows of regular double crochet, and then I also did one row of single crochet as a border at the end. Now I'm going to place it on my dress form and show you guys how I'm going to bead it. So if you haven't seen my other two videos, here is how I do my beading. So I'll go into one of the stitches with yarn that I've doubled over, pull it through the loop, and then I put the yarn needle on the end. That way I can easily place the beads on the fringe. I usually only tie one smaller knot underneath the smaller beads. The medium beads, I place a couple knots, and then the larger beads, I usually place a cluster of knots, big enough to fit inside of the bead, and then put a little bit of fabric glue and pull the bead down just to secure it. That way it doesn't move. I also chose to skip 2 stitches in between each fringe. That way it wouldn't look so crowded. So here you can see me placing one of the larger beads on, making a bunch of knots, and then I'm going to place a little bit of fabric glue and pull the bead down to secure it. Here's the final skirt. I hope you guys love it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram at Nachananas Crochet. Love you. Bye. One thing that I did add was a drawstring to the skirt just so I could get a little bit of a better fit. And I put wooden beads at the end, so it ended up being really cute too.